Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is a discussion and a comparison. So, MAC, Ashairah Maturidiyah CrossOver versus muʿtazila. So, MAC versus muʿtazila. Number one, there is only one eternal per se subsistent. This is the view of MAC, and Mu'tazila believes there is only one eternal that is per se subsistent. So this is the great difference. And unity of God, according to Maturidiyah Ashairah CrossOver, is there is one eternal per se subsistent, and that eternal per se subsistent is God. And according to Mu'tazila, there is only one eternal, and that eternal is per se subsistent, and that eternal is God. So there is a difference we can see in the second part of this comparison. Eternal non per se subsistent exists according to MAC, and according to Mu'tazila, no eternal non per se subsistent exists. So this is the second problem that is directly implied from the first, because in MAC there are eternal non per se subsistence, while there is no eternal non per se subsistent in Mu'tazila system. Third, eternal non per se subsistent are associated with eternal per se subsistent with what? With ba, or with a particular type of witness, ba maksur, and not with in, that is fi. And according to Mu'tazila, nothing is associated with the only eternal, neither with particular type of with ba maksur, nor with in fi. So there is a third difference, and very important difference. Fourth, no per se subsistent, no per se eternal non per se subsistent eternal are inseparable and indispensable from the eternal per se subsistent. That is the basic point. In short form, non per se subsistent eternal are indispensable and inseparable from the eternal per se subsistent. And in Mu'tazila, and nothing is neither indispensable nor inseparable. Nothing, there is nothing such a thing. So these are the 4 points, and I want to say that these are very important differences between us and Mu'tazila. So Mu'tazila believe in only one eternal per se subsistent. Now we come to the Kharabadi system and philosophical minded Ahlus Sunnah Deoband. Well, the theological minded Ahlus Sunnah Deoband do not agree with the philosophical minded Ahlus Sunnah Deoband. So however, great Qasim Nanfi rahmahullah rahmatullah alayh, Qasimul Ulum, Imamul Mantiq wa Imamul Kalam wa Imamu Ahlus Sunnah, he attempted to prove that line wala ghair, neither identical and nor separate and identical, are just a verbal dispute. But unfortunately, he did not prove it. It reminds me about Fermat theorem, that Fermat wrote in his book that he have to have proof, but he could not. He did not prove there, and it was proved by Andrew long time after him. But I think that what he meant, that there are two different meanings of the word identity or ainia. In strict meaning, La ain wala ghair, and in broad meaning, ain includes not only strict meaning ain but also lain wala ghair. Well, I may be right or I may be wrong. Well, in it, I want to say that am a system as according to me, because Maturidiyah Ashairah system as according to me is very important, because it depends upon my interpretations. Maybe there are some differences or there are some errors, but these errors will only will be only ascribed to me, not to these two super religious systems. So what I am saying, that there are four basic differences between MAC and Mu'tazila MA system. So what Mu'tazila say is quite different. Now we shall see some after some time the difference between philosophical minded Ahlus Sunnah Deoband and theological minded Ahlus Sunnah Deoband, and it will also be very interesting. And I am great opponent of identity, because it reduces God into a self-plurality and a self-unity and a self-contradiction. Because if a thing is plural as well as non-plural, it is a contradiction. A is either A is A or A is not A. So A is not A is a contradiction. And I say that if God is self-identity, self-singularity, self-unicity, self-uniqueness, self-unity, then there is no plurality. No self-plurality. And if God is self-plural, then not self-unity. And it is impossible for a thing to be self-plural and self-unity or self-unicity. And this suggests that if the attributes are identical in the strict sense, in the core sense, in the rigid sense, in the absolute sense, then one has to accept only one thing, that a single absolute unity is absolute plurality. There is nothing like that. There are some different pluralities exist in that singularity. We may say that this system is wrong, and the system of theological and Sunnah Deoband is correct, that there is only absolute unity intrinsically in the essence of God, but externally, or you may say neither internally nor externally, there are attributes associated with the divine essence, inseparable from the divine essence, indispensable from the divine essence, and they are the implications of the divine essence itself. So this is very important thing, and one should know the differences. Now I will try to show you these four differences between Mu'tazila and Ahlus Sunnah Deoband theological minded. And if you will say philosophical minded Ahlus Sunnah Deoband, so they will agree with Mu'tazila on issues, but there are still some disputes and differences between the two, and we will discuss them later. So we are going to deliver lectures after lectures in order to revive al-kalam, al-kalam and ilmul kalam, Islamic theology, and then to compare it with the other systems. It is very necessary. It is a necessity of the time, and many people who think that I am doing something wrong, so for them I will say that I will do what I like to do. No one can stop me, inshallah ta'ala. Wassalam.